I did talk to Wren Baker, the AD. I talked to him this morning via text at West Virginia, and he's not told anybody he's interested or pursuing the Baylor job. It just makes sense because everybody knows him. He's great. He was at UNT. He was a very successful AD there, and then he's at West Virginia now. And I think some people think he might love getting back to Texas. I think he would listen. I'm not saying for sure he would take the job, but he informed me that Baylor has not even reached out. All right. And he didn't say it like that. I just said, have you heard from Baylor? And he's like, no. And Wren and Jeramiah Dickey, I'm better friends with Dickey. So again, but these guys are both pretty, very blunt, not blunt, but just very upfront, matter-of-fact people. Jeramiah has not heard from Baylor. I mean, Dickey would be the one that knows everybody, knows who's been hired, knows who's in charge of NIL, who's in charge of this, who's in charge of that. He knows Jovan and Cody and everybody that's on staff at Baylor. He's got great relationships with all. So he would be able to move the quickest of any of the candidates. And plus, he's gone off to Boise State. He hired a great coach. That's Spencer Danielson, the coach at Boise State's a great coach. I mean, I think they're playing again for the American. Aren't they playing for the whatever they're in? The Mountain West, or I guess it's the Pac-12 now. Whatever they're in, they're playing for the conference championship. He hired a great coach at Boise State. I think Baylor would be, crazy not. But again, I don't know who Baylor's talking to. I can't. Most times I'm like, okay, this person's on the committee, this person. I do know that they're using Bob Bodin, who I've known Bob for years. And the guy from Bodin, what's it called? Davis and Bodin. Anyway, the Bodin has the company search firm. But Bob Bodin's the face of that whole thing. And he runs that search firm. They've got the search. All right. Bob Bodin's running the search. Kevin Gall, who's a great friend of mine, is the head of strategy for Baylor. He and Bob worked hand in hand. He came from there, and Mack went and hired him from Bob Bodin's company. So, again, it stands to reason that Bodin would get the search. They got the search when Baylor hired Matt Rhoades. That was Bodin and them, I'm pretty sure. All right. Or was it? Anyway, 2016, I think they got that search, and I think they probably helped Baylor get Mack Rhoades. And for as mad as we all can be at Mack Rhoades, the guy did a really good job. He did. Baylor was in trouble when he arrived. He stabilized things. He made a great hire in Matt Rhule. Obviously, he made a great soccer hire. Michelle Leonard's been incredible. He did a lot of great stuff. Okay, he's going through some stuff in his personal life, and we all do. We all have some bumps in the road, and unfortunately, this one derailed his career. So, is it his fault that Baylor doesn't have hasn't fired its coach and has a new head coach right now? Sort of, yeah. He screwed up. He would be the first to admit he messed up. Could Baylor have somehow tried to keep him? I guess. I don't think he did anything that you can't be forgiven for. My gosh, if we believe in the same God, there's almost nothing you can do, right? That you can't be forgiven for. People say, well, what about that? What about that sin? I don't know. I don't get into that. I certainly don't try to, rank these things. But there are certain things, obviously, you can't do at Baylor that you could do at other places. And unfortunately, I think he checked one of those boxes. But it didn't help that he had the thing happen with Trigg, and then there was other stuff that was reportedly happening, allegations of maybe, maybe not being kind in the workplace. Gosh, I'd like to meet a kind workplace. Oh, wait, they do have Rogue's very nice, but I'm talking about before that, Lord help. Wish I could tell y'all some of the things I saw in the workplace make Mack look like a teddy bear. All right. I had a guy at ESPN one time, and again, I get along with him fine now, but I mean, screaming at the top of his lungs, like at the ESPN newsroom, like an old school, like what you'd see in the movies, just screaming at me. I mean, yeah, this stuff happens. People like, oh, they looked at me wrong. Oh, I didn't like the way that tone of the email was. I'm just saying, I'll show you tone. My goodness. But all right. So I was just trying to kind of reset what's going on. Okay. I don't know. So Dickey and Wren, I think they're keeping a really good rap on this search. I mean, it keeps coming out. I don't think she's talking to. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know. Like Jeremy Fudge is a friend of mine who's a huge Baylor donor. I've had no signs that he's involved. There's other donors, big money donors that I know. Nobody's reached out to them. I don't know who. I don't exactly know who she's leaning on. Like I know some of the board members that would like to probably weigh in a little bit. She's not talking to them. I don't know. I don't know exactly. I mean, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. Now, again, this Bodin is good at what he does. And Bob's like some kind of Zig Ziglar motivational speaker. One time he made me, first time I met him, and he had me do this thing where I sent text. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, to like my loved ones. Like, I think they're all scared something was happening to me. Because, of course, I don't sit around like saying things and saying all this. I tell people I love them, but I don't say these crazy, meaningful comments that he told me to send. I had my family, they're like, oh my gosh, let's go try to rescue Mosley, like I've been kidnapped or something. But a good guy. He's a good guy. And he's been out there on the Rangers board of, I don't even know if that's out there that Bodin's running this search. I guess I should look. I haven't seen it out there anywhere. So anyway, that's who's running it. Somebody may have put it up on Sikkim. If you hear it on, by the way, if you hear something on here and you want to go post it on Sikkim, I'm okay with that. It's not like we're putting this behind a paywall. In fact, if you go sign up right now, we'll do it for free, and you can sign up for the YouTube channel. And then if you have little comments and stuff on the YouTube channel, we'll put them on the screen. So anyway, so that's the way the search is, like not really happening that quickly. They're being very quiet. There's no reason to talk about like a future coach because Aranda's coming back. I know some of you out there were like, well, could you make Spavital the interim head coach and get rid of Dave? I get it. I mean, can I see a reason you'd want to do that? Sure. But I don't think they're going to do that. Here's what I think will happen. I think, you continue the AD search. Dave's going to try to be out there a little more. He's going to do this news conference with the recruits. I think that's good. I think that's something Brent Ingram, the head SID football and kind of the head of all the SIDs, I think that's something he's pushed. I think right now he's got the hammer because, I think people are saying Dave needs to do more of this. And I think Brent, who's probably tried to get him to do more, will be able to get him to do more is the way I'm reading this. So Dave will do that Wednesday. I think a new defensive coordinator will be brought in. And you go, well, why would anybody come? Well, that's a fair question. But I mean, is there a talented defensive coordinator? If Baylor's willing to pay, you say, does Baylor have any money? I think so. That's one thing Mack always did. Mack paid. He did not get beat a lot he didn't got money whipped. They got beat on Rob Wright, but they weren't going to pay him $3 million. They offered him $1 million. BYU came in for $3 million. Okay. But when it came to coaches, he rarely lost out on that. We were going to lose to the freaking Carolina Panthers when they came out for Matt Rhule. Were we going to be able to pay Matt Rhule more than the Carolina Panthers? No, I don't think so. All right. But they were pretty good at that. They were able to retain the soccer coach recently, and she's great. I'm laughing because I went from an NFL coach to soccer, but I love soccer, and I don't love soccer, but I do love this soccer coach, and I love our program. So that's all good. So here's what Baylor's going to do. They'll have to money whip a defensive coordinator. And could that be an older person who's got a great – I mean, I would – you'll laugh at me. I'd be trying to find somebody like Kevin Steele. Like people are like, no, don't bring him back. He brings back bad memories. But I'm talking about like either a really extremely talented young up-and-coming defensive coordinator who's dying to call plays, or somebody that's been established and maybe they're out right now, or maybe, who knows. Phil Bennett. Phil just had neck surgery. Could you bring him back? Art's old defense coordinator. I asked Art recently if he's getting the game back together. He said he has a young D1 coach that's going to come with him, but he wouldn't tell us who it is. But somebody, you got to get – I mean, Dave can't call plays next year. Dave was horrible. I mean, and again, you say, oh, Mosley, would you say that to his face? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not – you saw Lane Kiffin the other day go after somebody for calling him a hoe. You call me a hoe, which was just dumb, whatever the line was a guy – it was a young guy. He was trying to be interesting on the deal, and it was something about – I don't even want to get into it. But Lane confronted him, and people were like, well, you didn't come back at Lane. What did you want the kid to do? Fight him? The kid was probably scared to death, and everybody's looking over there, and he didn't know what to say. All right? I mean, I've had players and coaches come after me. Well, what are you going to do? You can't, literally fight them. I had, T.O. came after me and was doing a whole, challenging me, saying, what you going to do, chump, to me, outside the locker room. And I literally was just like, well, I'm probably not going to fight you, T.O. That seemed like a real bad decision on my part, but I'm just remembering these kind of run-ins that I've had over the years. That was the one where he called me out after the game, not knowing that was great. I was like, okay, we now have a radio liner forever. Okay. So anyway, all that's going on. I don't know. So they're going to get a new defense coordinator. It will not be Pallage. I don't know what will happen with Pallage. I like Matt, and I think he's a talented young coach, but he's not going to be the defense coordinator. So they will hire somebody to call plays, and Dave will try to go back and be a head coach and do whatever he can. I mean, the one thing Dave has proven is that he's good at doing is firing coaches, and he's run through a lot of them. I mean, I would not even have any issue him bringing Ron Roberts back. I mean, those were compared to this mess, those were the glory days. I would have no problem with him bringing his old buddy Ron Roberts back. But again, let's think about who Dave's been on staffs with over the years. Gary Patterson. Absolutely. I don't think Gary would do it. But if he could convince Gary to come out of retirement and call plays and be the defensive coordinator, absolutely. Again, the problem is you can't have too big a personality around Dave because Dave doesn't really have a personality. And so and by the way, Dave knows that. Dave has tried. He's funny. He is smart. And all the quirky, funny, smart stuff is great if you're winning. But when you're losing, it just further infuriates everybody. So there is zero pulse to this program, zero excitement, and they're losing recruits by the day. But get your season tickets. Step up and get your season tickets. All right. We'd love to see you out there at McLean next year.